There is no tomorrow. There is no tomorrow. There is no tomorrow.
April 2024. We got some big fights coming up this month, but April is known for some big fights. One of the biggest coming up on the 37-year anniversary of Marvelous Marvin Hagler and Sugar Ray Leonard. That was April 6th, 1987. April 15th, 1985, you got Hagler Hearns. You got another fight that I was at, Prince Nassim Hamed and Marco Antonio Barrera, April 7, 2001. So this is a month of historic fights in the sport. And on your screen, you see one of the biggest to ever take place. We're going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about some fights coming up. Diego Pacheco has a fight coming up. Richardson Hitchens has a fight coming up. But this fight here was a big one, if you remember. And it was 37 years ago, which is crazy. Crazy to think about that fight was 37 years ago. So a lot of people are still talking about the Fundora Zoo fight, but Fundora's out till September. So why waste any more time talking about that? The big news has been with Isaac Cruz and how his star is ascending. I would say, though, let's temper it just a little bit, because no knock on Rolly Romero, but it was Rolly Romero. It wasn't Tank that he knocked out, or Devin Haney. But his star is rising. But, you know, when I think about this fight now, it still bothers me, the judging in this fight. Chris Flores had Romero up 66-65 when that fight was stopped. And this is these are some of the worst decisions of the year so far. We're not far into the year. We've got 5 really bad ones. And Steve Weisfeld, who's usually a good judge, had Teofimo Lopez up by 6 over Jermaine Ortiz. And Tim Cheatham, which that name is just, to be a judge and have that name, it's rough. Now, I didn't even realize that he scored that Zoo Fundora fight 116-112. I don't know. I can't see it, but that's how he had it scored. Let's talk a little bit. Let's talk a little bit about 1987. Marvelous Marvin Hagler, Sugar Ray Leonard. What I want to ask people is, can you name a better? Let's get to Tech Dumb Dad. Yes, sir. My dad was a heavyweight champ in the Marine Corps twice in 4 years, and as a result, my whole family were and still are boxing junkies. And this is the one I read before that you watched, Holmes and Cooney. That's the first fight you guys watched together. Wow. Andrew Charles, salute. Hey, make sure you subscribe. I'm trying to get to 7,000. I'm a little guy. I'm trying to get to 7,000 subscribers. 7,000. I think I've got 6,900. Now I feel old. Hey, you're not old. You're better. But what I want to ask is, with Sugar Ray Leonard and Marvelous Marvin Hagler, has there ever been a better boxing comeback than Sugar Ray Leonard? That's my question. Anyone want to fire out better comebacks than Sugar Ray Leonard? Because let me read some stats that I wrote down. So Sugar Ray had in 1982 he knocked out Bruce Finch, and then he had the detached retina. So he retired till 1984. He came back. He fought Kevin Howard. He knocked Howard out. He was dropped in that fight. He retired again. Almost 3 years later, he comes back. No fights in between. He comes back and he beats Marvelous Marvin Hagler. You might debate whether he won or not, but he got the decision. So he won that fight. Can you name a better boxing comeback than what Sugar Ray Leonard did back in 1987? And we're coming up on the 37-year anniversary of that. So if you can come up with a better comeback than that, I would love to hear it. Maybe Foreman, after the mental stuff after Ali, coming back at his age and winning heavyweight title, but Sugar Ray Leonard comeback was as good or better. Now, Foreman is a great one too, but remember, he had already fought Holyfield for a belt and lost. So he had, I don't know how many fights he had in his comeback, 17, 18 when he fought Michael Moore. And no knock on Michael Moore, but it wasn't Larry Holmes he was fighting. Still a great comeback, but is there a better boxing comeback than Sugar Ray Leonard had? And again, we're coming up on the 37-year anniversary of that fight, which I can't believe. I really can't believe it. Conscious Gains, Meldrick Taylor comeback would have been crazy. Well, Meldrick Taylor was sadly one of those guys that fought on too long, and that was that we actually just had an anniversary in March. I think, on March 17th, 1990, I believe, is when he fought Chavez the first time. So that's another crazy one. But yeah, I'm thinking that there's not a better comeback in the sport of boxing than Sugar Ray Leonard coming back to beat Marvelous Marvin Hagler. I mean, it was just incredible. But we've got, I guess, the biggest fight this month is the Ryan Garcia Devin Haney fight. I still am shocked that this is going to happen. I didn't think it was going to happen. Yet the show goes on. Devin Haney was just talking about how he thinks Ryan Garcia is a C-level fighter, and he only has a big name. And he might be right, because Ryan Garcia has not done anything yet to be considered an A fighter or even a B fighter. Devin Haney wants to call him a C fighter. But I'm seeing that the price of that pay-per-view was $80. So my theory with pay-per-views are, if people buy them, then it's worth it. If they don't buy them, then it's not worth it. So I'm going to put this link in here. See if anyone out there wants to talk boxing. Tech Dumb Dad. I don't think Ryan makes weight. He looks too big, and only 16 days to get to 140. Going to be hard. Yeah, well, 17 days away. I don't know. I will be surprised if he makes it to the ring. I still don't think that fight's going to happen. Hey, there's another anniversary. I talked about this in the beginning of the show, but I was in the house for this one with HBO. Prince Nassim Hamed and Marco Antonio Barrera, April 7th, 2001. Man, that was a crazy night. Barrera was a huge underdog to Hamed. Hamed was a featherweight champ. He was unbeaten. What I remember most, and I didn't get a chance to clip this off, but Hamed was famous for flipping over the top rope. And he came down to the ring on a swing. And right before he was about halfway down, someone threw a beer at him. Young George likes, he would throw, yeah. Someone threw a beer on him, and he went to do his flip over the top rope. He couldn't do it because his hands, his gloves were wet. So that was the beginning of the end for Hamed. He just was in another league. Barrera was too good, and Barrera won a unanimous decision. And Hamed would go on to have one more fight in his career. About a year later, very lackluster decision that he won, and he never fought again. And now Hamed looks like he could be a heavyweight. But that fight was 2001. That was 23 years ago, which is insane. I mean, I remember being in the production truck for that one, and the truck was rooting for Barrera. Hamed was a little bit difficult back then with people. But the only experience I had with him as a producer back then, I was actually a PA. I was a production assistant at HBO, and I was on a video shoot with a producer. I was helping him out, and Emmanuel Stewart was training Lennox Lewis and Nassim Hamed in the Poconos. They were sharing a camp. So Hamed would train in the morning, and Lennox Lewis would train in the afternoon. So I remember we got there in the morning, and I turned around, there's this little guy walks up to us, and he said, "Hello, mate, Naz." He's super nice, super short. He was featherweight, like 5'2", 5'3". But the funny thing was, Hamed trained in the morning, and when his workout was wrapping up, I look over and there's this giant on a bike, a road bike, just doing bunny hops coming to the gym. It was Lennox, and Lennox got off his bike and he was talking with Hamed. Lennox is 6'5", 250, and Hamed was 5'2". He was probably 130. But seeing those two together, because again, they both trained with Emmanuel Stewart, that's the one thing I regret. All the years I was at HBO, I didn't take enough pictures. I should have taken a picture with them. I've been in the Philippines with Manny Pacquiao. Didn't take pictures with him. I do have a picture with Juan Manuel Marquez in the mountains of Mexico, but that fight, April 7, 2001. Check it out on YouTube. Marco Antonio Barrera, in one of the best fights of his career, just dominated Prince Nassim Hamed, and he became featherweight champ of the world. There's some good fights coming up this weekend. Richardson Hitchens fights, but Diego Pacheco has got a fight. He's fighting Sean McCalman, who's 15-0. I was listening to an interview that Sean did on the Boxing Voice, and he's a super likable guy. 15-0, 7 knockouts, I think, 7 or 8 knockouts. He was a Division II quarterback, so he's definitely an athlete. He's only had 8-round fights in his career. This is a 12-rounder, so this is a tall order for him. I mean, this is going to be the if he wins this, it's obviously the biggest win of his career. And Diego Pacheco is just on a roll, 9 straight knockouts. He's unbeaten, 23 years old. In that division, I think 140 pounds is the strongest division in the sport. But 168 is not far behind. Bruce Gass, what's up, my friend? G. Nunez, I love these stories. I do have a lot of stories. I do have a lot of stories. Pacheco needs to step up the competition. This guy will be short work. The guy, well, we'll see. We'll see. I've only seen clips of his fights. It's going to be a tall order. But Diego Pacheco, I was saying 140 is by far the best division in the sport. But 168 is 168 strong. Just take out Canelo and Benavidez. You got Morrell and Billy and Munguia and Plant, Caleb Plant, who's still there. Diego Pacheco is looking to work his way into that list. So that is it's a spectacular division. And my hope, just like at 140, I just want to see the best guys fight each other. Canelo Munguia is coming up in just over a month. You got Edgar Berlanga in there too. That's another name. So there's 7 or 8 deep. There's a lot of good fights to make in that division. So Diego Pacheco, look, he's supposed to win this fight. He's supposed to win this fight. And if he doesn't, then he's not what people thought he was. But he's only 23 years old. 169 looks pretty. Yeah, that is a solid division. And I'm looking at the rankings. So yeah, David, I mean, William Skull, I can't say I know much about William Skull, but somehow he's ranked number 1 by the IBF. So Caleb Plant is kind of the forgotten guy. I think, let me see. I think Munguia is better than Berlanga. I do too. But Caleb Plant is like the wild card because he gets kind of forgotten. For the former champ, whose last fight was a loss, a decision loss against Benavidez. He's another PBC guy that's looking for a fight, but 168 is strong, and Diego Pacheco is only 23 years old. So he is Plant can fight and ducks no one. Yeah, I wish these guys would fight more often, but that's just me, I guess, being a greedy boxing fan. But but Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia, it's $80. Are people going to buy this? I think it's probably, that's another question. Are you going to buy this fight, or are you going to stream it illegally, get it somehow? I think it's probably the worst build to a big fight that I can ever remember. I mean, this has just been a terrible way to. And now it's like I was looking forward to it. Now I don't know how I feel about it. Uh, we don't have to go over every detail of Ryan Garcia's craziness, but it's been insane since that first press conference. Everything that's gone down. I mean, I remember he was saying that the New York Athletic Commission was asking for a mental evaluation, and they did not. Mike Coppinger reached out to get a comment from them, and they wouldn't. They had no comment. So it's got to be. Can you name a worse promotion for a major fight in recent years? Because there's no juice to Haney Garcia. Maybe there will be. Maybe next week there will be, but it's just been so bizarre with Ryan Garcia and everything that he does on social media and all the things that are happening with him. G. Nunez, Saudi pay-per-views are the ones that are actually worth paying for. PBC 2 lately. Golden Boy's undercard is underwhelming for Haney versus Garcia. Yeah, that's too bad. They really should try to make these undercards better. I will say we talked about this earlier in the week, but that Amazon pay-per-view, that was a good card. It was a good card. I thought that the all four fights were compelling. I really enjoyed them. It's 60 if you're a DAZN member. I will pay. All right, well, promotion has been non-existent. I think I don't think they want to do any promoting with Ryan Garcia. I think they just want to, it seems like his side, they just want to keep him in the gym, which they should, and make sure he's on weight so they can all get paid. Just me. Hey, George G, what's up? What's going on, Just Me? So the link is out there if anyone wants to jump in, talk about the sport. But yeah, I'm going to watch the fight for sure. But I really don't know how I feel about it. It just seems like he's not ready to fight, but there's a lot of money on the line. So I don't think there's any way that they don't do it. You know how boxing is. But go back to that first question I asked. Sugar Ray Leonard, Marvelous Marvin Hagler. It's coming up on 37 years since that fight. 37 years since that fight. And my question is, has there been a better boxing comeback than what Sugar Ray Leonard did? I don't think there has been. Going to bring in someone who might agree, who might disagree, but Sugar Ray Leonard, best boxing comeback ever. Bruce Gass, what's up, Bruce?
Big George, what's up, my brother?
How you doing, my friend?
Doing well, man, doing well.
So can you believe, man, 37 years since these two fought? It's going to be 37 years. Bruce, you're frozen. See if I can get Bruce back. Bruce is frozen. All right, Bruce, try to come back in again. I'm going to put the link in again. I don't know what happened. Maybe it's who knows? Maybe it's my video. But there's Hagler and Leonard. Iconic fight. 37 years ago. I was a kid watching that fight, and I still watch it from time to time. And I've never scored it, but I thought that Leonard won. I thought Hagler gave away too many rounds in the beginning. But I want to know, is there George Foreman is in that mix. I get it. But is there a better boxing comeback? All right, here we go. Let's try this again. Bruce.
I'm back again, bro. My VPN gives me a crazy signal, so I had to go shut it off. They thought I was in the Netherlands, I guess, and
So yeah, what do you think there's a better boxing comeback than what Leonard did against Hagler? I mean, I'm not saying I'm really, because people are saying Foreman that look, it's a great one 10 years later, but he had already had like 20 fights before Moore. He had lost to Holyfield. He had lost to Tommy Morrison. So is there a better comeback than what Sugar Ray Leonard did when he beat Marvelous Marvin Hagler?
You know, I thought Sugar Ray Leonard won that fight too, George. I watched it, and I was a Hagler man, but Sugar Ray just, he shoe shined him. He had Hagler's weaknesses down. He outspeeded him. He outclassed him. I thought he won the fight. It was pretty clear to me. And as far as the magnitude of a comeback goes, to me, there was nothing like seeing George Foreman when he knocked out Michael Moore. That was like,
oh, there's no doubt. The drama of that.
Damn. And what comeback are we specifically talking about now?
What'd you say?
Are we talking about a comeback that's going on right now in boxing?
No. I just, because that anniversary is up, I would just, when you really think about what Leonard did, it's crazy that he didn't fight anyone for almost 3 years before he fought Hagler. I mean, for 3 years, and he gets in the ring with Marvelous Marvin Hagler, and people thought that Sugar Ray was going to get blinded. They feared for his life. They said he was crazy to do it. No fights his last fight was Kevin Howard, a fight that he got dropped in.
In Worcester. And
then his next fight is against Hagler. I just, whether or not people think he won or not, he got the decision. And it's just, I really can't think of a better comeback or more dramatic. Well, maybe the Foreman one is more dramatic, but just on its own, it's easily one of the best comebacks of all time.
Now, how about if Errol Spence gets the fight with Fundora and knocks him out? Would you consider that a major comeback?
Considering what happened to Spence in his last fight, that is a heck of a comeback, because he got, bounced all over the ring that night. So that would definitely be a major comeback. But isn't that funny, Bruce? That this is boxing nowadays. Sebastian Fundora gets blasted and knocked out, and his reward is a shot at 2 belts, and he wins. Errol Spence gets bludgeoned all over the ring, and his reward could be a shot at 2 belts at 154. So, but yeah, it would be. I think it would be a big comeback if his first fight was against Fundora and he won. But Fundora's out till September now, so boxing is crazy.
Brian Mendoza, coming back off a defeat, steps right into a pretty decent fight on the card, the Boacek for the interim belt. And we think back, somebody reminded me, they said, hey, because a few days ago was the anniversary of Ken Norton and George Foreman.
Right.
They said, hey, Ken Norton got into that fight via his loss to Muhammad Ali. So none of this is unprecedented. It's right. It's all happened before in boxing.
Oh yeah.
You were talking about Emmanuel Stewart and Thomas Hearns. I'm always on YouTube, and there's a guy that's been coming into my chats and stuff. His name is Darryl McKinney. Nice guy. Anyway, he got in touch with me, and he happens to be Thomas Hearns' brother-in-law. And he says, hey man, the hitman likes what you're doing. He wants to know if he can send you some pictures and a T-shirt. I said, he wants to know if he can send me some pictures and a T-shirt. Anyway, I gave him my address. He sent me the tracking number. It's supposed to come in tomorrow. And it says it's about 3 pounds worth of stuff. So, man, I'll tell you, I'm almost going to do a show to just open this box up to see what I got from the hitman.
From Tommy Hearns, that hitman?
Wow. Now, Judge, I wouldn't come on here and say it was Hitman Joe Gomes from East Providence.
I just wanted to make sure I was hearing that right. Wow.
I know, man. That's why life is good, man. Life is good. I won a laptop on this boxing trivia show a couple of weeks ago on YouTube, and my friend came down today. He hooked it up for me. He fixed my camera. He fixed my outside cameras, and life's been really good. It's been a very productive day. I got the I checked the tracking number for the UPS. It's coming tomorrow with Thomas Hearns memorabilia, and And not only that, but he said he's going to hook it up where we're going to get Hearns on the show.
Wow. Listen, you should do a live opening that stuff up. Like you should do I mean, wow. Tommy Hearns.
I'm way ahead of you. I mean, I've been putting a little work in, man. I've been in touch with Roberto Duran's firstborn, Delilah, and she's going to come and do a show with me. She's real busy now, but she's going to get back to me and do a show. And also Razor Ruddock's daughter. I called her, Cleopatra. She got back to me, and she says, "Man, he's busy next week, but after that, he'd be glad to come on and talk to you." So it's it's been happening, bro. Life in the fast lane. Hey, the boxing scholar, why don't you come on up here, bro? A great guy to talk boxing to. And if you're doing an open boxing talk over here, man.
Yeah, he usually comes on. He's it's hoodie day. Listen, I'm not into the suit and tie when you talk boxing. That's not that. I know they do that on TV because it's a tradition. They wear suits and ties, but you don't talk boxing with a suit and a tie. You don't do it. I don't do it. You don't do it. Give me a hoodie. Give me a t-shirt. I'm no suits here. So boxing scholar, I don't even know what that means. I was going to pull up, but I saw it was hoodie day. You have a hoodie? Or listen, but you're classy. If you want to wear a suit and come on, it's okay.
Well, I got to buy a suit because I don't want to be buried in a flannel shirt or in a hoodie. So I'm going to have to purchase a suit one of these years because all my stuff. In fact, the last suit I bought was for my wedding, and that was in August of 1983. But George, my anniversary is coming up on Saturday. 23 years with my lovely wife.
Man, happy anniversary.
Yes, I'm.
But Bruce, don't talk about buying a suit for dying. Like, maybe because you're going out somewhere. Like, don't say you're buying. Come on, man.
Well, I want to look good. I want to look good when the last of my friends come in, and say goodbye to me.
Jeez. Zach said it's beanie day. Yeah, listen, you can wear whatever you want and talk boxing. But Bruce, I was also talking about another anniversary coming up, Hamed and Barrera, which is insane that it's 23. That's 23 years since. Wait, your anniversary is when? Saturday?
Saturday.
So Sunday is the 7th. So that's 23 years since Hamed and Barrera, which
I got married on a Friday, and that was on a Saturday. And I didn't have any honeymoon. I was too busy, man. It was, and there was a fight on HBO the next night. So how could I not stay home? So man,
there you go.
Barrera, and yes, man.
I can't believe it's 23 years since that fight.
Time flies, bro.
And the thing I remember, two things I remember most about that fight. Three things. One, someone throwing beer on Hamed when he was coming down on that swing. The second was when he couldn't do his flip over the top rope because his gloves were wet with beer. And then the third was, remember when was it the 12th round when Barrera got behind him and rammed him face first into the ring post? You remember that part of the fight?
Man, you got a way better memory than I do, though, George. Were you working that fight?
I did graphics for that fight, so I was in the truck. Wearing this credential right here. But I remember Hamed was he wasn't very professional with the production people. So in the truck, usually it's very, when there's a good fight, there's emotion, but people were pulling for Barrera in the truck to win that fight. And he schooled him, Bruce. He schooled him that night.
Sweet stuff. And you see Barrera now too. He's doing training.
Yeah, I just hope he doesn't. I hope he doesn't fight again.
I think he did an exhibition.
Yeah, well, that's what I.
Isn't he training other fighters?
I think he is. I think he is training other fighters. Oh, Bruce. Yeah. So I'm not sure. I think Hamed is training other fighters. I don't know what happened, Bruce, but try to get back in there. Oh, Tech Dumb Dad.
What's going on, George?
What's up, my friend? It's good to talk to you.
You too, man. Yeah, I don't know. Uh, I thought it was an interesting point about the Foreman being more dramatic, but maybe not more impressive. I can agree with that for sure. Uh, I think also Braddock's comeback was, it was pretty dramatic,
Oh yeah,
but maybe not as impressive. Although I
Braddock's
don't,
definitely is up there. I mean, look, they made a movie out of it.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
everyone remembers Cinderella Man. So, and Max Baer, like, I mean, that was way before any of our times. But what I've read books and articles like you, and Max
same,
Baer was like Sonny Liston
yeah.
back then. Max Baer was a beast, and
He was
Jimmy
huge.
Braddock. They feared for Jimmy Braddock's life too in that fight, and he becomes heavyweight champ.
Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know if weight classes would necessarily play into that as far as comebacks go because with heavyweights, a comeback can be ended by one shot by your opponent, and
Yeah.
then it's not a comeback anymore. Uh, but yeah, the Sugar Ray thing to fight Hagler after 3 years off is that's insane.
Ooh, you know what? This was a good one. My man George Spetta forgot about Paz. No, it wasn't high level, but damn, a broken neck. Yeah, and
Yeah,
he won a title after having a broken neck. So that's a Vinny Pazienza. I don't remember who he beat for that belt, but yeah, that was super dramatic. Remember him training with the his head was bolted in this
the,
brace.
yeah, the like Halo thing. Yeah,
The halo, that's it. The
yeah,
halo.
the
Yeah.
Halo. Yeah,
That's a good one. That was not on the level of Sugar Ray and Foreman, but that's a really good one. But it's 37 years since Leonard and Hagler, and
yeah. I was
it
12.
really just the fact that he did that with no fights for almost 3 years is
Yeah, I did,
it's,
I don't think I was 12 when we watched that fight at the house, and I was like, this is cool, Sugar Ray's showing that kind of skill. Uh, but as an adult now, I'm like, wow, yeah, 3 years off, knowing what they put into this and knowing how you have to prepare for a fight of that caliber and activity, and there was none for 3 years. So, yeah.
yeah. Just I still from time to time watch that fight, and I still can't believe that Hagler came out orthodox and tried to box. I thought he gave away so many rounds in the beginning, but it's still a fight. There's people, man. It's split down the middle. Some people are like on the fence, but most people they're very definitive. They say like Hagler won, or they say Sugar won, but Sugar Ray
I
got the decision.
I think he gave that fight away. Too many early rounds stacked up, and when you're a judge, you're going round by round, and to watch a guy do that and pick you apart like that and move like he did, and then yeah, he tightened it up towards the end of the fight, but no, he definitely. I don't know if it was a pride thing, and he thought, well, okay, you're the slick guy with the IQ, and I'll show you, I'll outsmart you, I'll come out and with some trickery, but to stick with it that long. Well, the corner should have been like, get the hell. No, what are you doing? No, we're not doing
Yeah,
this anymore. We're
a-
getting
a- and
owned.
and the Petronellis were so calm. They were usually calm anyway, but there was no sense of urgency. And I just watched. I worked when I was at HBO. I helped develop a series called Legendary Nights that HBO did on some
Oh,
of the.
watched many of them. Yeah, I grew up
So
watching. Yeah,
so I just watched the Hagler Leonard one again the other day, and those are great shows, by the way. They're on
they
YouTube.
are.
Um,
HBO
and
did it the
Sugar.
best. I'm sorry.
No, go
I've
ahead.
been watching since '82. HBO did it the best. I
They
think they should
did.
Showtime. I think it was a travesty. When they stopped, I was like, oh no, this is truly a sign of boxing going to a really bad place.
Yeah, it's a new day. But talking about Leonard and Hagler, Leonard at the end of rounds, and that the legendary Knights did a good job of pointing that out. But he had guys in the crowd yelling when there was 30 seconds left, so that he would steal the round, and that's what he
Yep.
did round after round. He flurried at the end because judges That's what they remember. They remember the last. They remember the last 30 seconds of a round. If it's a close round, they're going to remember what happens the last 30 seconds.
Yeah, but you got to be able to. You have to have the attributes to shoe shine like that,
Oh,
and
no
and and
doubt.
and then the smarts to actually take advantage of it. And
Yeah.
yeah, there was no urgency for Hagler. I was just like, what is going on? Yeah, I watch these fights all the time. I go through a list of them every year and rewatch them, and they never cease to amaze me. And I learn something new every time I watch them.
Yeah, and April is a good month for the history because April 15th is the anniversary of Hagler Hearns, which is, I mean, I watch that fight like at least once a month. I
Yeah,
watch
yeah.
at least the first round
I just
and the
watched it like
knockout.
2 days ago. I
Yeah.
did. I watched the first couple of rounds just 2 days ago. Yeah, it's I watched a compilation of Hagler. That I've gained a lot of respect for him over the years. I think boxing did him wrong to a certain degree. Uh, Boxing fans, anyways. I don't think he was nearly as respected as he should have been by the real boxing purist fans. Uh, because Sugar Ray was the Wheaties box guy, and he was the friendly to the media, and he was definitely the more marketable guy. But I don't know. I still don't think he gets enough respect.
No,
I
I
don't.
agree. He came up the hard way, and after he beat Tommy Hearns, that was his time. I remember he did the Pizza Hut commercial and he did right guard commercials, and he was mainstream. Sugar Ray Leonard was retired, so Hagler finally had his time on top, and
Yeah,
then
the
he
right guard with the tuxedo on, the right guard
yeah,
commercial. Yeah, yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
and then he fights Sugar Ray, and the rest is history.
Yeah.
He's one of the few guys that retired and never came back. And supposedly, uh,
Well, he went to
I was
Italy
watching
and became
Legendary
a movie
Nights.
star.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he never put on a pair of gloves again.
Nope.
Is That's how the story goes. But yeah, he became a movie star in Italy, and he married an Italian woman, and sadly he passed away a few years ago, way too young. And I've said this before.
Yes.
Like his poster was on my wall. Him and Sugar Ray Leonard, their posters were on
Yep.
my wall.
Same. I
So
kept the Wheaties box. I emptied the cereal out, ate the cereal, and kept the Sugar Ray Leonard box and
oh, that's
displayed it in
cool.
my room. Yeah, yeah. Had a
That's cool.
had a lot of Wheaties boxes actually over the years that I displayed.
Yeah, but the crazy thing is with Hagler, I mean, he was so strong. Like when you're a kid, you think those guys are superheroes, and you think they can
Yep.
never die. And even though I'm an adult, I was an adult when he died. You still don't think that someone like that can die. Like, and
Yeah.
when Hagler died,
There's definitely a period of disbelief. Yeah.
yeah, there
Yep.
really is. So I don't know. Uh, what's going on today? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what happened there, brother. I'll put the link back in. That was weird. Um, hmm. But talking about Hagler, yeah, I had his poster on my wall, and you just don't think a guy like that is going to die. And he did, and he died way too soon. Andre Rodriguez, uh, rewatched Chacon versus Lamone 4 this evening with my girlfriend. She had never seen it before. Now she's a major fan. Yo, you got a good one right there. Listen, in the next year, you better be in that chat saying she's my wife now, because if she's a boxing fan now, that's a plus. If she watched Chacon Lamone versus Lamone 4, man, that's a good one. New York Knicks, let's go. Yeah, they're not playing that well right now, but we'll see. Let's get George to 10K subs, guys. Yeah, listen, I don't know how to. I'm new to this YouTube game, so I've got almost 7,000, and I'm just starting to do lives and just starting to play around with things. George, no doubt. Yeah, Chacon, Bobby Chacon. I mean, whew, disconnected George. No problem. I want to ask you about your name, Tech Dumb Dad. I think most dads can say that are dumb when it comes to that. But yeah, so we started the show. I try not to dwell on the negative, but we've already got some bad scoring this year, and I still can't get over the fact that Chris Flores, who was a ref and a judge and a criminal defense attorney, how Chris Flores had Rolly beating Isaac Cruz at the time of the stoppage, 66-65. That first round should have been a 10-8 round. I don't. You'd be hard pressed to give Romero 2 rounds. I think 2 is being gracious. Yet he was up at the time of the stoppage. And Tim Cheatham with the great name is up there twice. And that was another one I didn't realize that he had scored that fight 4 points for Tim Tszyu. But now that 154-pound division, Zhu's going to be out for a while with a cut, and Fundora is out till September. So those belts are on ice right now. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm looking forward to the fights this weekend. Richardson Hitchens is fighting. He's in the mix at 140. Best division in the sport. And Diego Pacheco. Diego Pacheco has got a fight coming up as well on Saturday. And don't forget, April 20th. We'll see if it happens. I still have my doubts that Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney happen. I think Devin Haney wins that fight. It would be a shocking upset if he were to lose. I just wonder if Garcia is going to come out the way he did against Tank, or if he's going to come out more measured. I still, if I had to bet right now, I would say the fight won't happen. But we're so close. We're only 17 days away. And his team is going to do everything they can to get him in the ring so they can all get paid. So that's what's on their mind. All right. It's been 40 minutes. Make sure you subscribe. One Round with George. Like the show. Subscribe. I was trying to get Harvey Dock on. Harvey Dock was the referee for that Tszyu Fundora fight, but he couldn't make it. So hopefully we'll have Harvey Dock coming up soon. But I'm trying to get some fighters on here, do some interviews, talk some boxing, because listen, I'm like everyone else. I want to hear from the fighters. It's fine hearing from people like me, but I'm like all of you. I want to hear from the fighters. So make sure you subscribe to One Round with George. This is where we talk boxing, baby. Let's do it again.